like and subscribe, because today's message might be exactly what your soul has been waiting to hear. So many of us go through seasons when we feel like God has gone silent, like our prayers are bouncing off the ceiling, and our hearts wonder if heaven has closed its doors to us. This is not a rare feeling. It happens to the strongest believers, the most faithful people, and even to those who've devoted their entire lives to serving others. Meet Daniel, a man whose story mirrors what many of us quietly wrestle with. He was faithful, hard-working, and always leaned on prayer when life was uncertain. But then came the season of silence. After losing his job, his health declining, and his relationships strained, Daniel prayed more than ever before. Yet no comfort came. No whispers in the night. No sense of God's presence. Just silence. And with that silence came the darkest thoughts. Maybe God has abandoned me. Maybe my faith is worthless. Maybe I've been wrong this whole time. Daniel's story is real, not because of the details, but because it could be any of us. Haven't you felt the sting of unanswered prayers? Haven't you wondered why joy feels far away, even though you're trying to do everything right? This is why it's so important to understand that silence is not absence. God's silence is not rejection. In fact, silence often means He is doing His deepest work in us. Just as a teacher stays quiet during the test, God sometimes allows the quiet so we can discover the strength already planted within us. Daniel didn't know it yet, but his prayer life wasn't failing. It was being refined. But let's be honest. When you can't feel God, motivation can slip through your fingers like water. Waking up feels heavy, laughter feels fake, and joy seems reserved for everyone else but you. Daniel reached a point where he stopped trying, stopped praying, and almost gave up. Yet here is where the solution begins. Not in pretending everything is fine, but in leaning into the silence as part of your spiritual growth. Think about it. Seeds do their deepest work underground, unseen and unheard, before breaking through the soil into the light. Your soul works the same way. If you can't feel God today, it may mean He's pushing your roots deeper, preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine. Daniel realized this when he forced himself to change his approach. Instead of asking, "Why can't I feel you?" he began praying, "Lord, help me trust you even when I can't feel you." That simple shift turned his despair into determination. He began writing down daily blessings, even tiny ones. The taste of his morning coffee, the smile of a neighbor, the warmth of sunlight on his face. Slowly, gratitude became a bridge over the silence. Psychologists confirm this. Gratitude rewires your brain, increasing hope, lowering stress, and opening space for joy even in the darkest times. Spiritually, it also pulls us closer to God by reminding us that He is working, even in the details we overlook. Daniel's silence didn't end overnight, but his mindset did. Instead of viewing silence as abandonment, he saw it as invitation, a call to trust deeper. And that trust gave him new energy to keep living, to keep loving, and to keep moving forward despite life's blows. So what about you? Maybe you're in that same quiet place right now, wondering if God even hears you. Here's the truth. Faith isn't about feelings. Feelings rise and fall, but faith stands firm on God's promises. When you can't feel Him, anchor yourself in Scripture. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. When you can't hear Him, surround yourself with community, because sometimes God speaks through people who encourage you, uplift you, and remind you of your worth. And when silence stretches longer than you thought you could handle, remember this. Silence is not the end of your story. It's the soil where miracles grow. Daniel eventually found a new job, stronger friendships, and a deeper peace than before. But more importantly, he found himself. He discovered that even when feelings fade, faith carries you through. His prayer shifted from begging for God's presence to trusting God's presence even in the quiet. And that's the solution for you too. Start small. Write down 3 things you're grateful for today. Replace God, "Why don't I feel you?" with, "God, thank you that even in silence you are here." And remember to keep living, laugh, create, connect, and enjoy the gift of life. Because joy is not just found in feeling God. It's found in trusting Him. You may not feel Him today, but one day you'll look back and realize He carried you every step of the way. That is the power of a prayer for when you can't feel God.